God morgon allesammans. Det är enda svenskan jag kommer använda förrän vi kommer i stolen där. Good morning everyone, nice to be here. Aptahem, I'm the CEO, and here we have Luisa Jedlina, who is the chief scientist of Aptahem, and she will come in a bit later and talk about the nice findings we have around our lead candidate Apta1. And it's a deep, deep travel, but we will try to reach you in a level where everyone can understand. So Aptahem, well, we are listed on Spotlight, founded 2014, and we are looking at life-threatening conditions to treat with our aptamers that we have. And this is conditions that are around coagulation and inflammation at the same time, which is typical for sepsis. A little outlook where we have gone since we started 2014. Actually, Luisa here, she came in already 2012, so she's been poking around in this aptamer since 2012, so she has a lot of knowledge and where we are today with this technology. So we started out with an anti-clotting agent, and we did a lot of fantastic results during 2014 and 15, and that was amazing results. But however, what happened is that we couldn't understand the cardiovascular effects of Apta1. So Luisa digged a little deeper, and she found that it was actually highly anti-inflammatory. And there we started the journey we are on today. And that meant that we said, okay, if we have this fantastic character of the Apta1 that is our lead candidate, what should we do with it? Let's test this in the worst kind of setup. Both Luisa and our CMO suggested a sepsis model, and that's what we did. And the results were shockingly good. It was amazing, really fantastic results. So that was the start for the new strategy of the company, 2017, where we went into sepsis and said, we are going to go for this tough area, and we did. And we are here now with fantastic results. And along the road, we have made some partnerships. We also had a new patent family introduced by Luisa here as an inventor that covers the protection of the therapeutic use of Apta1. And yeah, we went on, and we are now in Seattle Children's Research Institute. We have a collaboration which is very fruitful, which I hope we can... the microphone. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, I hope you hear me. Anyway, so we are going to this year, and we just released a big NHP report on primates, which were extremely great results from our side, and that resulted in that we recently could publish the mechanism of action in a very light model for you shareholders or viewers here. So, sepsis, I mentioned it. It's an awful syndrome, and anyone can be struck for the least whatever happens. You don't realize that you have sepsis sometimes before it's too late at the hospital, and it contains many different stages which can be tough to diagnose. That means you need to have a lot of different drugs, as you soon will see when Luisa presents the mechanism, that there is no real cure. That's the thing. And I think we're sitting on a very good cure. So, this is figures for Europe. You see 1.2 million get struck by sepsis, 40% dies. That's enormous, awful, and horrible. And almost half of them, or at least 1/3 of them, doesn't get the proper treatment because it's tough to diagnose, like I just said. And that is the big challenge. Many stages of sepsis needs different types of treatment. And the cost for society, personally, for the whole society, work and so forth, is enormous, 30 billion euros. It's enormous money. And the biggest issue here is, of course, the personal suffering, families and friends and so forth. But one thing, I already talked about it, it's about we have a multi-target Apta1. Most other drugs on the market, or those who try to reach the market, have been one target. And relating to several steps in sepsis of different conditions there, you need something that can take more than one. And by that, I would like to introduce the floor to Luisa Jedlina, our chief scientist, to talk you through a little about Apta1 and RNA aptamers and the mechanism.
Thank you, Mikael, and welcome. It's a great pleasure that I can introduce you to our fantastic drug, Apta1. And why it's fantastic? Absolutely, this is the oligonucleotide. Like we can see here, the structure of Aptahem, and it's an RNA sequence. And what is even more amazing, that it binds very specific to the target proteins. So this RNA doesn't go into the nucleus, it's just acting outside the cells. And if it's it work outside the cells, it can signaling cells from outside to inside. And what is another very, very interesting thing with Aptahem, some people call aptamers as chemical antibodies. And we know that antibodies are used for many, many reasons, for many sicknesses. But they have a lot of side effects. And Aptahem, as an RNA aptamer, doesn't have this. It's no immunogenicity like with monoclonal antibodies, and it has very good safety model. But now I will want to tell you something, just general scope about sepsis and how Aptahem behave in this condition. This is very, very complex condition, and first stage of sepsis is dysregulation of coagulation. So in another way, I will say blood clot formation, too much clotting. And also we have natural way to declot, which we call this fibrinolysis. And where there is a disturbance and problem, it means that body can't dissolve too much clots. It starts to be a big problem because it's also start the second stage of sepsis. And it will create the mess with storm of different particles, inflammatory particles. We call this mostly cytokine and complement cascade. This is nice words, but generally they are really, really cruel. They generally should take care about killing pathogens, but they start the big problem, storm and dysregulation in organism. So the end of the story, it can be septic shock, it can be DIC, which we call this massive microclots in the organism, or it can lead to organ failure because the veins start to be not tight and they start to leak, lose the blood pressure. At the same time, the organs have much less oxygen, and of course, it can lead to the death. So, for many years, there was a lot of clinical trials, and a lot of companies tried to create drug for this awful sickness. So they have, with the different color, we can see that there is different candidates used for the treatment of sepsis, but they take care only about one specific molecule target and also one pathway. And when I talk about pathway, I talk about first stage of sepsis. When we talk, for example, about antithrombin and this yellow coagulation. So they only take care about this part. But, for example, they also did another drugs where they take care about the inflammation, also only about one target. They could see that it doesn't work because we never know what's the condition is the patient at the moment when it's coming. Because after some time, when the inflammation is running, the storm, it's also once again start coagulation from the beginning. So this is what it's happened. And what we discovered with Aptahem, this molecule is multi-target. And this molecule can also restores the organism control. When there is this regulation, when there is the big storm and organism in shock can act in the proper way. So what we've seen, and many of my experiments on different animal models, on human blood, shows that Aptahem take care about coagulation, also enhance fibrinolysis, so natural way to dissolve the clot. And also, in the latest stage, take care about inflammation. And inflammation on many levels. So not only one target, there is also take care about cytokines and many others. But this part I will show you in the next slide when I will try to tell you about mechanism of action of Aptahem. So let's say that outside, this is the veins. We call this endothelial cells. Inside there is monocytes, neutrophils. We call this white blood cells, and a lot of other proteins, red blood cells, platelets. So when bacteria enters the bloodstream, start to activate the vessels with endothelial cells and also white blood cells called monocytes. And they are create procoagulation receptors outside, and they will make this procoagulant status, so it will make a clot. But also they will produce the microparticles, which they are also toxic, they are also support to make more clot. So what Aptahem will do in this moment? In this moment, Aptahem will inhibit white blood cells, monocyte, but not completely, just overreaction. It will just cool down, so they will not release these toxins, and also endothelial cells, they will also be cooled down with the receptors. They will not produce so huge amount of this procoagulant particles on the surface. And if normally no one can stop this coagulation, next part, it will come fibrinolysis. So the natural way dissolve the clot. So in normal condition, the fibrin will be deposited around the platelets, and this will be a trouble because there is a pi activation. It means that this is the factor which will stop naturally fibrinolysis. And what we can see with Aptahem, it can decrease release of pi1 in the system. So system can really very efficient dissolve the clot, existing clot. And also extra feature what we could find that Aptahem can't take care about aggregation of erythrocytes, so they will clot with the platelets, and Aptahem will also prevent this part. But if the body can't take care about this coagulation and fibrinolysis, it will come another part on the other side, endothelial wall plus once again monocytes will start to produce enormous amount of particles called cytokines. And these cytokines are really, really cruel for the body because they are very toxic, and they also will release another particles. So Aptahem, which we could see on every model what we tested, inhibit production of pro-inflammatory cytokines and stimulate in the middle interleukin 10. This is very important interleukin because it's anti-inflammatory cytokine and it's natural, so also trigger production of this interleukin 10, which also will support this other not to be produced. But once again, when we have a sepsis, and if this part will be not taken care, it will go even deeper. So another white cells, we call this neutrophils, very potent cells, will be called by pro-inflammatory cytokines to the veins, and they will start to roll, and they will also produce very toxic granulas, and this can lead really to destroy the tightness between the cells in the veins. So what Aptahem is doing, also take care about these white cells, and it can inhibit rolling coming to the place of infection, with an enormous amount, and also it will make that these white cells will not produce over amount of these granulas. So it will give protection for the vascular permeability. It will take care about this part, and also what we could see, Aptahem start to produce repairing proteins when there is over damaged by some other factors. So we never know when the patients will come on which stage of the sepsis, but Aptahem will take care about all of this. And for the end, what we can see, that it will protect the organs, and of course it shows with the animal study that it's take care about the survival, because what was very interesting, that survival was dose dependent. So before things it was about sepsis, but we know that this particle Aptahem have much more possibilities. And I said about this natural reparation of damaged cells and profibrinolytic possibility, so declot, but we also seen that it can increase production of proteins that clean out dead cells. What does it mean? It means that it can help and protect against autoimmune diseases. But the main focus, this is sepsis, what we are doing now. This is very, very complex, cruel sickness. And the rest, maybe we will look for other opportunity for the new patents. Thank you very much, Michael. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Luisa. Okay, I will try to sum this up. We just talked about that we had some new results, and some of them Luisa presented here. Of course, we have more that we haven't disclosed yet, and we are looking at the new patent protection, but we will have to come back with that later. And talking about, where are you? There we are. So, okay, looking at this one, well, just to sum it in the square there is that there is no direct competitors, what we can see today. Not with this multitasking possibility. It's fantastically unique. That's all I can say at the moment. Last drug on the market was Xigris. It was withdrawn because they couldn't have significant data on it actually worked. And that is also a one-target type of drug. Well, I was talking about patents here. Our first family, which was invented by Tina Persson and Johan Lind, and this is how we all started. They invented the structures, which we have then built our understanding of in a total different target, which we have presented here today. And Aptahem, you see on sepsis. Aptahem, we tested little inflammatory sicknesses, and that's something we would, when we have time and more money, for sure, to investigate. And we have mostly granted patents in the first patent family, and the patent family 2, which Luisa is the inventor to, is now ongoing. We will come into the country phase next year, and we hope to fast granting. It's always a good value for a company to have granted patents because they get 10 times stronger than a patent pending. It's very easy to bog down on a not granted patent. And you see we have a long protection here, 37 with the Lasses family, and that means that for having a good case for someone to invest in us, to take it all to the market because we need a partner at some point, we need to have protection because that's money. If they can't make money, they will not invest. That's the cruel world we live in. And just to give you an example of the market potential, and this is for Europe top 5 and US, and it's 2007, old figures that are probably bigger today, but I don't have a figure at the moment. But you should look at the estimated market value. If you look at the proportion of drugs belonging to the immunomodulation category, this is where we are. And 2017, it was 32% in Europe, 1/3, and 10% only in the US. So there is still a huge market to take or claim with this type of drugs, which Aptahem is, obviously. But still, despite these market claims of immunomodulators, we have a multi-billion-dollar market, and the cases of sepsis is increasing. We're living in a much tougher pathogen world nowadays, which actually leads to more cases of sepsis. At the same time, we are better to diagnose, but still, a good diagnose needs a good therapeutic. We may have the answer. The team, Yeah, me, Louisa, you met. Anders Bülow is from this area, Gothenburg. He's the strategist behind the clinical studies that we will run as soon as possible. He has drawn the lines for this one. Ulf Björklund, very well-known guy. He oversees both preclinical and clinical programs and see to that they work. And together with me, we find a subcontractor and so forth. Ola Skanung, very good CFO. He's multitasking in many ways. He's a fantastic resource. And Thomas Rupp, the world-leading expert in Aptahem process development. I'm happy to have him. He got free 2 years ago, and I just had the chance to take him when he was free. And of course, we have a bigger team. We have a board of directors with good backgrounds. We have a scientific council, which Anders here is actually chairman of, and there are more people in the office and other people that we work with. So total we say we're 20-25 people actively working with Aptahem despite being virtual. And talking about where we are, this is 1 year until now about, and we have an upwards trend, and I hope you would come with us and help us go even more upwards. And we are working hard to make it better for all shareholders and newcomers to the company, of course. And to round off, we have a warrant right now, option, and it's a subscription time which ends next Monday. The strike price is 220, so you can still buy warrants over the market. And if we have a full subscription, we will get 14 million Swedish kronor before emission cost. And just as a final word to look forward to now, we're waiting for a big batch of our Apta1, our lead candidate. And when we have that, we will kick off our last leg of the tox and safety studies, the GLP tox, which is necessary to complete before we can go into clinic. We are also doing other things, of course, other preclinical studies, and of course preparations for the clinic. It's already underway, so we're not sitting still waiting for some facts to come. So we are up and running all the time as fast as we can. And I ran over a little, but I think it was okay, so I will stop there. Thank you very much for the attention.
Ja, då tror jag vi tar det på svenska här, frågor.
Det går bra.
Så att, Apta 1, den är i preklinisk fas.
Ja.
Och när ni ska in i klinisk fas här relativt snart i tanken.
Ja, igår helst. Men
igår, ja,
så snabbt går det tyvärr inte. Vi måste ju göra klart toxen först, den som jag precis avslutade med, GLP-toxen. Det är ju ett nödvändigt regulatoriskt krav som man behöver för att kunna göra detta. Och så fort vi får vår stora batch, för det är en stor batch, för att första delen av toxen vi gjorde en icke-GLP-tox konsumerade faktiskt all Apta 1. Man kunde helt enkelt inte hitta ett toxiskt tak. Så att tyvärr gick det mycket åt, och då måste vi följa vad vi fann i icke-GLP-toxen, även i GLP-toxen, tyvärr, om man säger så, för det förbrukar väldigt mycket substans, och den väntar vi på, den stora batchen, och så fort vi har den så smäller vi igång GLP-toxen. Och när den är klar och sammanfattad, och givetvis parallellt när den springer på, så gör vi ju förberedelse inför klinik. Så att jag kan inte säga datum nu på någonting, det var fel av mig, utan vi återkommer till marknaden och övriga så fort vi vet någonting.
Men under 2020 räknar vi med?
Ja, alltså jag kan inte sitta här och säga någonting, men jag säger så snart som möjligt.
Ja, burn rate i bolaget, vad är det? Det är ändå...
Ja, burn rate, vad ligger vi på? Det skulle min CFO svara på egentligen, men jag tror vi ligger någonstans på 1,5 någonting. Det varierar givetvis när man kör större studier, så pikar det upp lite mer, och sen ibland är det lugnare perioder. Så det är så det fungerar när vi sitter på kontoret och sammanställer och funderar på vad vi har för någonting och räknar på det. Så att det är lite berg- och dalbana precis som här utanför på Liseberg när det gäller ekonomin.
Ja, för ni får in 14 miljoner här med de här optionerna.
Ja, 14 miljoner är ju innan emissionskostnader. Det är vår financial advisor som kommer ta en liten procent, och det är givetvis. Och det är ju förutsatt att vi också får full täckning på den här optionen. Så att,
men nu ligger den rätt in the money.
Ja, det hoppas jag att den gör. Jag har faktiskt inte kollat. Så att,
jag tyckte jag såg efter.
Ja, för alla del. Men man får väl titta på dagsläget, hur kursen och hur det handlas. Och då kan man även handla optioner över börsen. Det går att göra det. Så att.
Men de pengarna räcker 2020 om man säger så?
Ja, den räcker in i 2020. Ja. Det går ju till den fortsatta verksamheten när vi håller på med just GLP-tox och andra prekliniska studier. Så att det är välkomna pengar, det är helt klart så.
Ja. Hur länge har ni tänkt driva projektet i Aptahem?
Vi har ju lite...
Ni tar första...
Nej, jag har alltid sagt att för att man ska kunna ha ett bra projekt måste man hitta någon som tror på oss och tror på projektet. Det är inte bara en ekonomisk transaktion eller liknande, en licensdeal, utan man måste kunna koppla med varandra som partners. Jag tror det är jätteviktigt för att det handlar om att kanske göra en tekniköverföring eller samarbete under flera år. Och när det händer, det kan hända när som helst. Och vi är öppna för alla möjliga förslag givetvis.
För sen drar det iväg med kostnaden när det ska genomföras studier?
Det drar iväg ganska mycket. Ja. Och när man kommer klinisk 2 då blir det ju större cohort som man säger, och folk som ska testas och få det rätt också. Och klinisk 3 då, det krävs alltså hundratals miljoner, miljard kanske att köra sådana studier. Så att man är beroende av någon som har erfarenheten av att köra senare kliniska studier, liksom att ta det på marknaden. Vi har inga förutsatser att göra det, men förutsatsen är att vi hittar en bra partner, licenspartner eller partner på något sätt som kan ta oss i hand och ta oss till marknad.
Och det ligger ett par år fram i tiden?
Ja, marknaden ligger ett par år fram i tiden minst. Så mycket kan man väl konstatera.
Ja, men när ni ska in i de stora studierna?
Ja, det gör de ju. Och det tar ju också längre tid att göra de större studierna. Ja. Första kliniska studien är en friska frivilliga som säger FIM, First in Man. Och då testar man på friska helt enkelt och ser, finns det några man kan göra andra tester också där man testar lite för att få någon form av proof of concept. Men det lär vi kanske återkomma med framöver. Men vi funderar på fulla...
Då är det goda nyheter förhoppningsvis.
Ja, det blir det verkligen. I så fall.
Ska vi se om det är någon fråga här i publiken? Där har vi en. Ska du få en mikrofon här?
Ja, finns det några naturliga samarbetspartners som ni ser som möjliga?
Ja, jag kan svara på det. Ja, det finns ju ett antal. Alltså, jag menar, det finns ju de storfarmar som har deklarerat att de är intresserade av sepsis och väldigt komplicerade inflammatoriska sjukdomar. Det ska vi inte sticka under stol med. Och vi träffar och vi pratar med dem och de följer oss. Och sen vill jag inte säga mer än så. Vi har färdiga datarum med alla våra resultat i. Så att när någon signar på ett hemlighetsavtal så då kan man titta på det också. Det kanske vissa har gjort och kanske ingen har gjort, det vet jag inte, men just här. Men det finns naturliga parter hittills.
En följdfråga också. Kan man få ut någonting av att studera på friska människor? Måste man inte vänta till de är sjuka?
Jo, det är alldeles riktigt, men man får bara göra first in man och det är friska frivilliga för att man vill se, finns det en toxisk, finns det en säkerhetsrisk med drogen? Och då tar man ju bort den baselinen som handlar om att någon är sjuk. Sedan i nästa steg testar man då på de som verkligen är sjuka och då gäller det att välja väldigt noga vilka man testar på. För att jag menar, det har jag inte sagt idag va, men sepsis kommer oftast från andra sjukdomar. Inte bara att man petar sig i näsan och får blodförgiftning utan man kan få cancer, man har ett nedsatt immunförsvar och man får lätt en lunginflammation och den leder lätt till en sepsis. Så det finns massor olika. En fotbollsspelare kan få en kraftig smäll på låret, en lårkaka som någon talar om. Det kan leda till sepsis, den här massiva koagulationen. Och just den massiva koagulationen leder då, som Lisa visar på mechanism of action, till en inflammatorisk respons och det kan ge sepsis. Så att det är vad som helst. Och det gäller alla här. Man måste vara jätteuppmärksam på det. Får man hög feber, man inte får ner den, stå på sjukhus och liknande för att man kan ha en septisk reaktion helt enkelt. Och det kan gå på timmar så är man borta helt enkelt. Så illa kan det vara. När man går in i septisk chock till exempel. Då fallerar kroppen totalt. Oops.
Ja.
Inga frågor till Lisa?
Det var ytterligare. Hade du? Du var nöjd? Någon ytterligare fråga? Det var tunt där.
Ja.
Och tiden är i princip ute så att...
Fick inte du säga någonting?
No.
Det ser ju väldigt spännande ut för er.
Ja.
Och lyckas ni här så är det ju en jättemarknad som väntar på er.
Ja, det är en mega-blockbuster, det kan man ju lugnt säga.
Så att du såg ju hur du bubblade när vi pratade om framtiden här. Så
Ja,
att,
alltså vi har ju mycket mer insikt i det vi håller på med och det ger en stor inspiration till oss att jobba med detta och lägga många timmar. Det driver en, men det är också liksom patientbehovet som finns där. Det är stora anmält need, som man säger. Jag har själv erfarenhet av folk som har gått bort i sepsis, så att det ligger djupt inne hos en faktiskt att jobba med detta. Så att vi har blivit serverade en fantastisk kandidat, så mycket kan jag säga. Och vi har tagit den bollen och Louise har tagit den bollen och dykt ner i kaninhålet och dyker djupare för var dag som går. Så att vi kämpar för fullt att ta oss till marknad, absolut.
Härligt. Vi ser fram emot det här och ska följa er med spänning.
Tack så mycket.
Tack
Tack
så
för idag.
mycket.
Tack.